All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to get started here for the weekly briefing, covering the period today, June 17th, going through next Sunday, June 23rd. Meteorologist Andrew Kren from the Weather Service here in Raleigh. Let's go through the upcoming weather pattern for Central North Carolina. Some key points to keep in mind. We got broad high pressure will be extending into the area through much of the week. We'll see that ridge kind of breaking down potentially late in the weekend into early next week, which could also increase our rain chances. But kind of going through some of the key impacts. Largely dry weather today, just an isolated chance of a shower or storm, primarily in the triad this afternoon. Once those clouds clear out, temperatures should be rising into the upper 80s to low 90s in most of the area this afternoon. I did mention that ridge, so it's a quite anomalously strong ridge, and that is going to be off the North Atlantic and continue to push and build westward across the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas through the remainder of this week, and that's going to result in some really hot temperatures, as well as a major heat risk for this upcoming weekend. Just a heads up that temperatures Friday through Sunday look to range in the mid to upper 90s, heat indices approaching 105, some portions of the eastern Piedmont, Triangle, Sandhills, and the coastal plain. There will be, as I mentioned, a slight uptick in rain chances the latter part of the weekend. There is a wave of low pressure that I'll talk about a little bit later. That's currently off the western Atlantic that could bring some storm chances this weekend. And there will also be kind of an approaching cold front late Sunday into early next week, Monday. A lot of uncertainty as to whether that front actually reaches us, but it could also increase that rain chance as well. So really the main highlights to focus on as we get into the latter part of this week and the weekend is the potential for a major heat risk, especially Saturday and Sunday. So what you're looking at here is an experimental product that the Weather Service is debuting this year. It takes into account several factors, the time of year, based on climatology. It takes into account daytime and nighttime temperatures, as well as the vulnerable population, those at most risk, according to data from the CDC. This is for Saturday, and on Saturday we're kind of in that orange to red area, which is roughly moderate to major heat risk potential, with temperatures largely in the 90s. And then as we get into Sunday, you can see most of central North Carolina, actually most of North Carolina east of the mountains, is kind of in that red or major category. So really what this means is that this level of heat would affect anyone without effective cooling and or adequate hydration. You'd want to consider canceling any outdoor activities during the heat of the day. Stay hydrated and stay in a cool place, as well as check in on friends and neighbors. Another way to view this, these are the projected heat indices, the maximum heat indices during the daytime for Saturday on the left and for Sunday on the right. On Saturday, most of the areas, ranging from the upper 90s heat indices to lower 100s, close to 104 here in Raleigh. And as we get into Sunday, it looks like most of the area will be in that triple digit heat indices up to 105, potentially 106 in the Triangle. So that's kind of, that's our main focus as we get into the latter part of this week, is that building heat and that potential for that risk. So with the limited rain chances, we don't really have any severe thunderstorm potential. We do have general thunders today, across that small sliver of the northwestern Piedmont triad, with that isolated storm chance today, but none of those storms, if they develop, are expected to be severe. Accumulated precipitation the next 5 days, pretty much not much in the way of measurable rain. We do have something potentially approaching, on Friday with that potential offshore, potential tropical, potential coastal system that could produce some showers or storms, across eastern sections of North Carolina and potentially reaching the coastal plain or the eastern sandhills, but largely a very dry week. For the excessive rainfall outlook, again, we're not expecting anything in the next couple of days, so nothing to speak of there. This drought update was updated last week, so there are potentially some changes on the way as we get into the next couple of days. There will be an update to this coming Thursday, so be on the lookout for that. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a expansion of abnormally dry conditions across portions of the state. But we'll certainly give you more of an update on that for our briefing on Thursday. Now going into kind of the tropics, so it started to become a little bit active as we get into the middle part of June. Some of the key points, we do have that area in red, which is kind of in the Gulf. That's a broad area of low pressure, kind of near the Bay of Campeche. There is hints that a tropical depression or tropical storm could form by midweek with that as it moves westward towards the western Gulf coast. That system is not expected to be a player for us. However, the area that's highlighted in yellow is something we want to watch. So there is currently a surface trough upper level low that's kind of well east of the Bahamas right now. And that system is currently forecast in the models to kind of approach the coast of the southeastern US late in the week. It bears watching for our area. I will point out there's a lot of uncertainty as to whether anything really develops, if it does develop, where it's going to actually go. So you'll just want to stay up to date, and we'll continue to update you on any potential changes as the week evolves. Going into the extended for the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. On the left is for temperature, on the right is looking at precipitation. It looks like this abnormally warm temperatures are expected to continue into next week. We have a 50 to 70% chance for above normal temperatures and not much of a signal for precipitation, only 30 to 40% chance of seeing that above normal precipitation. So right now the signal is showing continued warmth, hot temperatures with maybe limited rain chances. Our experimental graphical hazard weather outlook shows that the primary threats, which I mentioned, in the last couple slides, is that excessive heat potential, especially Saturday and Sunday. As you can see, we get into the elevated and the significant category for Central North Carolina. All right, let's wrap it up here. So our weather summary, largely dry today, an isolated chance of a storm is possible in the Triad this afternoon. Temperatures will top out in the upper 80s, low 90s. Then we are going to see that heat building through the week as an anomalously strong ridge builds over the mid-Atlantic and the Carolinas, resulting in hot temperatures and a potential heat risk over the upcoming weekend. So that will lead to some dangerous hot weather, especially as we get into Saturday, Sunday, with mid-90s to near 100 for highs, heat index values in the upper 90s to around 105. And these unusually hot conditions will increase that risk for heat-related illness, especially for those without access to air conditioning. Also, we do have a potential wave of low pressure off the West Atlantic that could bring some storm chances this weekend. It bears watching for some potential tropical characteristics as well. So more details on that as we get through the week.